Hello and welcome to Productivity for Solopreneurs, where each Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time or a little later sometimes, I share insights into getting things done. And welcome. So today is live number 110 and the topic is outside the boundaries thinking. Actually, the better title for it is rethinking the boundaries of your business. So if you're watching, whether you are live or catching the replay, say hello in the comments. Let me know that you're here. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Evie Burke, and I help women solopreneurs who want to take their productivity to a new level. They're overwhelmed. There's a lot that they want to accomplish over the course of any day, and they're just not interested, nor do they want to. They don't want to. They're not interested in it. They can't put in 9 to 12-hour days. They have other things they want to be doing in addition to their business. But they also want to be fully present in everything that they do, whether it's their business or something else. And I help them create impactful solutions that really focus on getting the important high priority areas complete so they can grow their business with the confidence that they are becoming or are the high achievers that they want to be. So, like I said, today's topic is rethinking the boundaries of your business. And it came about because I was listening yesterday to the Being Boss podcast. And if you like podcasts, I encourage you to check them out. They're two ladies that run separate businesses. They just have a conversation once a month about what's working for them and just other topics that popped up. And it was a really interesting conversation. One of the things that they touched on was boundaries. And I like analogies. It's the way my mind works. And one of the analogies that I thought of while they were talking about this is the boundaries that you literally have in your life when you own property. So if you own a home with a yard, then you have physical boundaries that say, like, this is my yard and this is everything outside of these boundaries is not my yard, right? And the things that are outside the boundaries of your yard, you are not responsible for. That's the way property works, right? You have your property lines and you are not responsible for the things outside of your property. Generally, there might be some easements that you maintain or mow or something like that, but you are not responsible for the things happening in your neighbor's yards, right? So if a neighbor has a garden that's a bit unruly or a tree that looks like it might fall over or needs some branches cut, that's not your responsibility. You might notice it, but you don't have to do anything about it. You don't need to spend any time thinking about, oh, should I talk to them about that tree? That's their responsibility. It's in their yard. Now, occasionally you might notice something in a neighbor's yard or even just driving by somebody's house that you really like. Maybe they have a flower that you think is really pretty or some kind of feature in their yard that you really like. And then you might kind of notice it and then want to do something like that in your yard. That's completely appropriate, right? Because you're not worried about how they did it. You're just like, oh, that looks really cool. I'd like to do something like that. I have a space for it. I have a spot that would fit well with in my yard, and you can go and you can implement that, right? Really cool when you can pull inspiration from other people's yards. And then you have these situations occasionally where a neighbor has a tree that's on or just inside their own property, but the tree extends into your yard. And if it's not causing you any problems, then there's nothing to worry about. But if it's causing your fence a problem, if it's scraping against your house or the garage, or it looks like, there's a limb or something or the tree's gonna fall over and land on your house or land on your garage or something, then, or destroy something in your yard, then you might have an occasion or a actual concern, right? Where you might want to go and talk to your neighbor about doing something about this tree because, while it's technically their responsibility, you need to worry about it because it's affecting you, right? So business is similar. We don't need to worry about the things that other people are doing in their business. You might notice it. You might go, yeah, don't think I would be doing that. That seems like a bad idea. But if it's not affecting you, then you let them do their thing. Unless you've been asked, you don't necessarily need to share that disapproval with them, right? It's their business, it's their thing. You let them do their own thing. And you don't worry about it. You don't need to spend any of your precious time and energy concerned about what other people are doing, especially if it's not affecting you. Now, if it is something that is affecting you, then yeah, maybe you need to think about how you're going to approach that. But those boundaries, they work the same way for our business. It tells us what's outside, right? And lets us let go of what's outside. And if we see something that another business is doing that we're like, oh, that's really cool, I could do something similar in my business, then yeah, by all means, tweak it, make it, figure out how you can adjust it so that it's something that will work for you, and then do it. That's the great thing about having businesses. But the other side of businesses, or not businesses, of boundaries, is not only do they tell us, what's outside our realm of responsibility, it also tells us what's in our realm of responsibility. It tells us what are the things we are responsible for. So in business, we, even in the podcast I was talking about, and I'm thinking back to times where I've heard other coaches talking about business boundaries or just boundaries in life. So often they're talked about in regards to the things that they're keeping out, the things that you don't do or you won't do, or the things that aren't your responsibility. But boundaries for our business as well as for our yards, they tell us the things that we are responsible for. So these are the things that you do, right, as part of your business. These are the things that you include. These are things like how you show up, when you're available, the emails you respond to, right? They include the things that you do. The boundaries are, saying what's inside boundaries, the inside bounds, so to speak. So for you, if you're having problems, identifying what the boundaries are in your business and what things you don't do or the things that you exclude, maybe start with thinking about what are the things you do? What are the things that are inside those bounds? And then you can, once you have a good idea of what those are, then you can start playing with what are those things that are outside of the bounds. But it gives you that starting area when you know this is what I am definitely responsible for. Then you can start thinking about, once you have those things you are responsible for identified, then you can start thinking about what is it that I don't do or I'm not interested in. And sometimes we don't know what those things outside our boundaries are until we, put our foot in the water and go, oh, yep, nope, that's not for me. And that's fine. The beautiful thing about business boundaries that we can't do with yard or property boundaries is business boundaries are really so much easier to redraw and renegotiate versus physical or property boundaries, where your yard's your yard, and if you decide you don't want to take care of something, you can't just not do that, right? So if you are having problems identifying your boundaries, just once again, think about what is it that you are responsible for, what is it that you do include in those boundaries, and go from there. So if this is a topic that it feels like is impacting you personally and you want to have a conversation about it one-on-one with me, the easiest way to do that is to apply for coaching or PM me and let me know, what's going on, and we can set up a time to talk. So I will include a link for that, applying for coaching, in the sidebar. Actually, maybe it's that way. Wherever it is, maybe it's up above. Wherever it is, you can find that in the description. So until next week, much love. Goodbye.